I was born and raised about 25 miles northwest of Bemidji on a little farm. I was 18 years old when I joined the United States Navy. I was drafted because my mother would have never let me join the Navy because she had a brother in World War I that was a casualty, and he was also in the Navy. So his name was George also. So she really wasn't very interested in me joining the Navy. But I got drafted, and when I ended up in Minneapolis, I walked in the door and there was a table where the Marines were. He grabbed me by the arm and pulled me over and started giving me a pitch. Well, I thought to myself, you know, that uniform isn't that nice. I wanted to join the Navy. I walked a little further and here was the Airborne Infantry. And he grabbed me and pulled me over and started giving me a pitch. I thought, well, that would be kind of fun to be flying, but that's the infantry, and the infantry does a lot of walking, and I'd walked a lot in my life, and I didn't want to do that. So I walked over to the Navy, and I enlisted in the Navy right there. After boot camp, I went to San Francisco, and in San Francisco we stayed at Treasure Island until our ship got commissioned. We commissioned our ship in August of '44. It was the USS Flint, CL-97. It was a light anti-aircraft cruiser. In December, we headed for the Philippines, and on the way we stopped in the Hawaiian Islands. Well, we joined the 3rd Fleet, and that's Admiral Halsey's fleet. And the task force consists of a flagship in the middle, 6 carriers around that. Then there's another row around that where there's the battleships and heavy cruisers. And we were in that circle. Then all the way around there was about 15 destroyers. So sometimes there'd be about 32 ships in the task group. And it was about the 1st or 2nd day, I believe. 3 of us were on the back deck. And we looked out on the port side, and here comes 2 white stripes. And they were torpedoes. And they could tell that they were going to pass behind the ship, and they just missed us. We didn't even change speeds or anything else. I don't think anybody else saw them, but we were lucky. From the Philippines, we stayed with that campaign until the Air Force could get their planes in. And then we went into the China Sea. Well, as we left the China Sea, then we headed for Iwo Jima. And we stayed at Iwo Jima until, of course, they secured the airfield so the Army could get in. And there was no longer use for us. And we went by Iwo Jima, so I got to see the island. And by the way, I have a cousin that's 3 days younger than I am. It's Kenneth Johnson. He was going to join the Navy, but a Marine came along and says, you, and you, come with me. So he ended up in the Marines. And he ended up on Iwo Jima. And he is one of 24 out of 600 that survived in his outfit that came off the island alive. And he's one of 8 that wasn't a casualty. He knew Lindbergh, who put up the first flag, that crew, and he knew every one of the ones that's on that picture that they were his outfit that did this. Went to Okinawa, and we were making strikes against Okinawa, and there's where a lot of the suicide planes were. That was really something. Well, when we left Okinawa, we went back up to the coast of Japan, and we were off the coast of Japan when they dropped the atomic bomb. And we were off the coast of Japan when they surrendered. After I got home, I was looking for work, absolutely no work. And so I knew about the GI Bill, so I went up to the college, and I thought, I'm going to try it. In 3 years and 3 months, I had my Bachelor of Science degree. I think that people should be aware of what happened in World War II, and that we shouldn't allow anything like that to happen again, really, because war isn't very much fun, really. It's kind of a hazardous occupation.